last thing we're going to talk about is this girl. This is Amy Fitzpatrick, another Irish girl, came to Spain. This time she came to Spain with her mum and her stepdad. Let's see if I can find we'll see a photo of those of them in a moment when I'm telling you what. She came to Spain with her mum, her stepdad and her brother, Dean. They lived in Mijas Costa, which is up near Málaga sort of way. And then one New Year's Day, Amy just disappeared, 15 years old, disappeared completely. She was on her way very short distance from her friend's house, where she'd stayed the night before, and poof, like in a puff of smoke, Amy disappeared, and there's not really been any more information really since then. Now, the police obviously searched for her in the beginning. As I say, I do know some things behind the scenes, but I can't talk about them yet, but it won't be long before I will be able to. Now, Amy's mum and stepdad came under a lot of scrutiny. Well, yeah, that's fair enough, really, when you think about it, isn't it? That's what happens, isn't it? Someone goes missing, and then once the police sort of thought, maybe this is a suspicious missing persons case, they look at the family first. I don't think that that's a bad thing. This is Audrey, her mum. I put these pictures next to each other because you can see Amy's eyes. You can see that Audrey, or I should say Amy, has got Audrey's eyes. You can see the resemblance. Now, she's come under a lot of speculation, and also her partner, Dave, we'll have a look at a picture of him in a moment. For years, ever since Amy disappeared, there's been speculation that they knew more about it, mainly due to the fact of Amy's phone was found at home. Now, you know what young people are like. They're not normally separated from their phones at all, are they? So they claim that she never made it home that night, but her phone was actually found. So I think that's the main reason. Also, the fact that Audrey's partner, Dave, he is a very violent man. You can't dress that up any other way, whether you believe that he had anything to do with Amy's disappearance or not. Violence follows this man around. He is a violent man. And of course, it culminated in Amy's brother, Dean, having an argument with him when they returned back to Ireland, in Ireland. They had an argument, and Dean ended up being stabbed by his stepfather. Though the stepfather, of course, said it was an accident. It was Dean who actually was the aggressor. He was trying to take the knife off Dean, and Dean ended up walking onto the knife. It was suicide. So, maybe it's true. Maybe it's true. Depends what you want to believe, isn't it? It's only his word against Dean's, and Dean can't speak anymore because Dean died that day. And actually, Dave went on the run very briefly, but eventually gave himself up. And he was charged with manslaughter and found guilty. And he did his sentence and he came out. He was then involved in another violent altercation later on with a neighbour, a pensioner, who he headbutted in some silly argument at a barbecue, And that case came to nothing because in the end the neighbour didn't turn up at the court case and said, he's got nothing against Dave. Was he scared? The thing is, people are scared of Dave, I think, and Dave is a violent man, and whatever, as I say, the truth about Amy or about anything else, he's been involved in a lot of violent altercations. You know, sorry, that's just the way it is. That's just the truth. I'm not making it up or anything. Hi, Yvonne. So, now, the reason I'm doing this video, I mean, I've done quite a few videos about Amy, but the news that's sort of coming out at the moment is that Amy's mum, Audrey, is very, very poorly in hospital. Now, first, before I show you that article, like the recent one, I want to just show you, because apparently even years ago when her son was killed, and do you know, she married her partner after her son was killed. So after her partner killed her son, whether it was manslaughter or not, who knows, but she married him after that. So her daughter's gone missing, her son's dead, and she married this partner that killed her son. Now, you know, I'll let you make what you want of that, what you think of it. You know, at the end of the day, it was her life to live, and she did what she did. But, you know, what do you think of that? So what I want to show you first, though, is an article from after Dean died, where she was already ill with her liver. Now, she's a self-confessed, she was an alcoholic. So, you know, she obviously, alcoholics have problems with their liver, don't they? So, Audrey, this is an article from 2014. Audrey Fitzpatrick, who looked frail on a visit to Dublin last month, has been told by doctors in Spain, but she must have been in Spain then, she has a deadly illness. Now, she doesn't look very well. I think it's the skin colour, isn't it, when people have a problem with their liver. So apparently this was her at the inquest into her son's death. And as I say, afterwards, she did marry Dave. Is it Dave McMahon, his name is? Anyway. So then doctors had told the mother of Amy Fitzpatrick she would die if she does not go under the knife for a liver transplant. And shattered Audrey Fitzpatrick, 45. So she was only 45 in this picture. Goodness me. Whose daughter Amy, 15, is missing and presumed dead in Spain, was told she has a deadly liver disease and needs an operation. Audrey, who is living with partner Dave Marn in Marbella, Spain, no, she was in Marbella then, was hit with the bad news after she was rushed to hospital with an illness last Thursday. And speaking from the hospital Costa del Sol, Mr. Marn said, "We've just been told the news. They told us she needs a new liver and she will die unless she gets a transplant." And Dave revealed that Audrey will be spending even more time in Ireland to receive treatment. So they went back to Ireland. They're currently living in Ireland. But I just wanted to point that out. So even in 2014, she was quite ill with her liver. And now it's being said, according to Dave, she's now 57. She looks, you know, well, I was going to say she looks better on, but of course she was a lot younger on that picture. So, according to Dave, her partner, she needs a miracle as she fights for life in hospital. Audrey Marn, 57, whose teenage daughter Amy vanished in Spain in 2008, and whose son Dean was killed by her now husband Dave Marn, is in a critical condition in hospital with liver failure. Now, it's very sad. Liver failure, it's a hard. I mean, your liver can recover, can't it? Your liver can recover, but you must never drink alcohol again. If you've got like a That's what they say, if somebody gets to a point where they need a liver transplant. I mean, has she had a liver transplant? I mean, according to that last article, she was told she had to have a liver transplant, but we're now quite a few years on. So I find this picture really eerie, because Amy, of course, has disappeared and is presumed dead somewhere, but nobody knows where. And Dean, he's been stabbed and killed by his stepdad, who was also the stepdad at the time that Amy went missing. But Audrey has stuck by him. She says she has no doubts, etc. Anyway. So apparently she's in a dire battle for her life in hospital, with her husband stating she needs a miracle to survive. Now, he has been under suspicion, of course, Dave, for such a long time. And I just want to say, he's never been, as far as Amy is concerned, he's never been charged with anything, or, so if he hasn't had anything to do with Amy's disappearance, it's terrible, really, because he's been tainted with it. You can't help but think it, though, can you? With the best will in the world, especially because he's if he was like a man who didn't have any violent tendencies, or other things that had happened, maybe you'd give him more the benefit of the doubt. But it's difficult, isn't it? When you know what his history is, it is difficult. And maybe he is innocent. And if he is innocent of having anything to do with Amy, then it's a shame that he's been put under all that scrutiny all those years. So, yeah, she's critically ill in hospital, suffering from liver failure. But her husband revealed to the Irish Mirror, expressed his hope his fighter wife will manage to pull through. Now, she has been a fighter, of course, and she's been through a lot. I mean, if you think if she is perfectly innocent, she's lost her daughter, she's lost her son, she's lived under suspicion along with Dave all these years. So, it's quite it's hard, isn't it? So you've got to, because we don't know anything else, really, we have to think of her. So he has remained steadfast at Audrey's bedside, and he said that toxins from her failing liver have infiltrated her brain, and doctors have warned him she might never regain consciousness. They said she could wake up in 5 minutes or in a week's time, or she may not wake up at all. Dear me. But having said that, they haven't said that she's not going to wake up. If she wakes up, then we have to assess to see if there's any brain damage, they said. And if she wakes up and there's no damage, then we have to address the problem of liver failure. Audrey, who's previously opened up about her battle with liver disease in 2013, has faced a series of devastating personal tragedies, from the mysterious vanishing of her daughter to the manslaughter of her son. Oh, and alongside her husband's incarceration and his battle with cancer. Yeah, so he was in prison and he was diagnosed with cancer. But look at this picture. Amy left with her mother, Audrey. Amy was 12 in that picture, and Audrey was 35. So much promise, isn't it? I mean, Amy, poor Amy, she never got a chance to live her life at all, did she? 15 years old and gone who knows where. Where is Amy? Anyway, Dave Marn shared that Audrey is a true battler and he's holding on to hope that she will conquer this latest health scare. It's liver failure and the toxins are after going into her brain. She's critical. Her eyes opened about 2 days ago for the first time and she spoke just a little bit and I was elated. Then the doctors pulled me into the family room and said she's critical, but she's the best fighter I know and I hope she will pull through. I have fallen to my knees, and I don't fall to my knees too easily. She's been through more than any man or woman I know in this world. I mean, she certainly has been through a lot. She's not conscious now. She's asleep, but she's breathing on her own. She struggled more than anyone I know, with Amy more so, but also with Dean and me, with cancer in prison. But Amy was the main. I could hear her howling at night. Nobody sees that. Pretty much every night she's howling, he continued. Marn also highlighted Audrey's unwavering search for clarity on what happened to Amy, as she tirelessly trawled the internet daily for answers. She hasn't stopped, she doesn't leave the house too much, but she's always on the internet trying to help parents of other missing kids. She has a contact in England and he shares videos of Amy that she watches. I can't watch them, but she does. That's like going into the ring with Tyson every day. I can't do it, but she does. And he expressed his frustration at what he perceives as a lack of support from the Gardaí or the government in the search for Amy over the past 17 years. I'm annoyed that Audrey has been doing this for 17 years alone, without any help from the government. They should hang their heads in shame. They've never once knocked on our door. She's paying with her life. It's disgusting. Hopefully she's not gone, but she's after giving her life with no help. So Amy was only 15 when she disappeared from the Mijas Costa area of Spain on New Year's Day 2008. Her last sighting was around 10 p.m. She left her friend Ashley Rose's house, headed towards her home where she lived with Audrey and stepfather. Her mobile phone was later. So this I think is the issue that has created suspicion, is the mobile phone was found in her bedroom. So everyone was saying, well, who would leave their mobile? Did she make it home? But her mother has consistently stated that she doesn't believe Amy took her phone with her when she disappeared. Audrey has also repeatedly shared that Amy called her on a landline on New Year's Eve to wish her a Happy New Year. This turned out to be their final conversation. Then Audrey was dealt another blow. On May 25th, 2013, her son Dean Fitzpatrick, Amy's brother, was fatally stabbed by Marn at his flat in Burnell Square, Malahide in North Dublin. He handed himself over to the Gardaí the next day, recounting how he had taken a knife from Dean during a row about a bike, and that his stepson had then run into him, resulting in an accidental stabbing. In May 2015, while he was awaiting trial, he got married to Audrey, who stayed loyal to him despite the tragic loss of her son. I mean, let me know your thoughts. Do you think you could have done that? Your daughter's disappeared, now your son's dead, and then you marry this man. Marn received a 7-year sentence for Dean's manslaughter, but due to remission, he served only 5 years. And over the years, Audrey has spoken extensively to this paper about the incident, expressing that she misses Dean every day. You learn to live with it, I suppose more in the last 10 years, but I don't think it will ever go away, she said in 2023. She also shared her belief that if she had been present in the Dublin flat where Dean was stabbed that day, perhaps the tragedy might have been avoided. Oh, it definitely would have been avoided if she would have been there. It's still crystal clear in my head. That night I was staying with my dad because he had Alzheimer's. God, so her dad's had that. She has been through the mill, that's for sure. And we used to do shifts with him. I couldn't leave my dad until I got someone else to mind him. Of course, it would just happen that one night when I wasn't in the apartment, she recounted. Things could have been different. Things would have been different had I been there, but I wasn't. It's all ifs and buts and maybes, and you can't change the past. No, you can't. So she has said herself that she thinks Amy is no longer alive. This, of course, is Amy. She's just a tiny little thing, isn't she? She's not around, said Audrey. I know she's not in my gut. She's also spoken about the substantial sums spent over the years in the quest to find Amy. You're talking 14 years of campaigning, hundreds of thousands easily. It went on eating, running the car, getting flights, staying in the hotel, going from here to there, leaflets, badges, bus stops, banners. More than 100,000, I can tell you. And if I had it today, I'd spend it again on the same thing. Some families are visited with, some families don't have any tragedy. And then other families seem to get visited with more tragedy than most. I mean, that's a lot of tragedy that Audrey's had to suffer. I don't know. I wasn't there when Amy disappeared. I don't know what happened to Amy. I wasn't there when Dean and Dave got into that argument. So, this is what I was saying right at the beginning of this video. When a murder takes place, you've only got the word or an attack or an assault, or it's one person's word against the others. And if it's a murder, the other person is deceased. Dean couldn't give his side of the story, could he? So all we've got to go on is what Dave said, and it may be true. Exactly what Dave said. That it was Dean with the knife. He took the knife off Dean, and Dean ran onto the knife. It's possible. But, we don't have Dean's side of it. We only have Dave's side of it. And the only thing that I feel about it is he's a very violent man, whichever way you look at it. And then who headbutted his neighbour? Did the neighbour just put his head on Dave's forehead? You know what I mean? It's like, didn't he break his nose, I think? I mean, he is a violent man. And he couldn't dispute that. He is violent. Maybe a lot of it is to do with alcohol. And maybe as far as Audrey's concerned, maybe he's been a bloody brilliant husband. I don't know. But Audrey, they seem sort of really, they stayed together all this time despite the tragedy. So, I don't know, does that mean that they've got this unbreakable bond? I don't know. Anyway,